It started with a quiet suspicion, a feeling in her gut that something was wrong. Emma had no idea that this nagging instinct would lead her to the darkest corner of her marriage. When she discovered the truth about Mark's affair, her heart shattered. But in the midst of her pain, something darker began to rise inside her. An urge for revenge that would twist the lives of everyone involved in ways they never saw coming. The question was no longer how she would make him pay. It was how far she would go, and who would be left standing when the dust finally settled. He had never imagined this moment would come. In the weeks leading up to it, she had felt it building, this gnawing suspicion that something was off. The late nights, the secrecy, his sudden affection for his phone, always placed face down, always hidden from view. She had tried to ignore it at first, to convince herself it was nothing more than her overactive imagination. But deep down, she knew something was wrong. Her name was Emma. She had been married to Mark for 7 years. They had a house, a dog, and a life that many would envy. From the outside, they seemed like the perfect couple. But behind the closed doors of their seemingly perfect life, there was a different story, a story of lies, betrayal, and secrets. It all started on a rainy Thursday evening when Emma came home early from work. She had planned on surprising Mark with a nice dinner, something to break the monotony of their daily routine. But when she walked through the door, she found something she had never expected. Mark was sitting on the couch, laughing and texting furiously on his phone. It wasn't the laughter that bothered her. It was the look in his eyes, the look he used to give her when they were first together, that spark of excitement that had long since faded. She stood in the doorway, frozen, watching him. She didn't say a word at first. She just watched as he continued texting with a smile plastered on his face. He hadn't even noticed her. The realization hit her like a punch to the gut. He was having an affair. Emma's heart raced as she silently dropped her keys on the table. Her mind swirled with thoughts, rage, betrayal, confusion. She knew, deep down, that she couldn't confront him yet. Not like this. She had to be smart. She had to be patient. She couldn't let him see the storm that was brewing inside of her. Not yet. As she turned and walked quietly to the bedroom, she fought to hold back the tears that threatened to spill. She had always thought she knew her husband, but now it felt as though she didn't even recognize him. How long had this been going on? Who was she to him now? And who was the woman on the other end of those messages? The next few days were a blur. Emma began to track Mark's every move. She followed him when he left for work, watched him from the window as he met his friends for drinks, and listened to his every phone call when he thought she wasn't paying attention. The more she learned, the more disgusted she became. The woman he was seeing was younger, much younger. Emma had found out her name was Sarah, a colleague from Mark's office. The worst part? Sarah didn't even know about Emma. She was just a pawn in Mark's game. The rage burned inside of Emma, but so did a cold, calculating calm. She could feel the plan forming in her mind. She wasn't going to let this slide. She wasn't going to be the woman who let her husband get away with this. She would get her revenge, but it would be on her terms, not his. It wasn't long before Emma started to hatch the perfect plan. She knew it had to be something dramatic, something that would send a clear message to Mark and Sarah. She needed to show them both just how far she was willing to go. And so, she began laying the groundwork. She started by playing the role of the supportive, loving wife. She pretended like nothing was wrong. She cooked Mark's favorite meals, kept the house spotless, and showered him with affection. But all the while, she was setting her plan into motion. Every move was calculated. Every word she spoke was carefully chosen. She had learned over the years how to manipulate Mark, how to make him think that she was still the same woman he had married. But beneath the surface, she was a storm waiting to break. The first step in her plan was to confront Sarah. She knew it wouldn't be easy. But Emma had always been good at getting what she wanted. She arranged to meet Sarah under the guise of wanting to get to know her better. Emma had done her homework. She knew where Sarah liked to hang out, what bars she frequented, and who her friends were. It didn't take long before Emma found herself sitting across from Sarah at a local cafe, looking every bit the picture of a concerned wife. She smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "Sarah," Emma said softly, her voice almost too sweet, "I think we need to talk." The younger woman looked up, startled. Her eyes darted nervously around the cafe, as if searching for an escape. I don't know what you mean." Sarah Stmmeled. Leaned forward, her eyes locking with Sarah's. "I think you do. You see, I know about you and Mark, and I'm not here to fight you. No, I'm here because I want to make sure you understand exactly who you're dealing with." The tension in the air was palpable as Sarah's face drained of color. Emma could see the fear creeping into her expression, and she relished it. This was just the beginning. "I don't know what you think you're doing, but let me make one thing clear. I'm not the one who's going to suffer here. You will. Because when I'm done, you won't even recognize your own life. And neither will Mark," Emma said coldly, savoring each word. "I'll make sure of it." With that, she stood up and walked away, leaving Sarah sitting there, paralyzed with fear. The next part of the plan was the hardest confronting. Mark. She had to make him feel the weight of his actions. She had to make him regret ever thinking he could get away with this. It took a few more days, but finally, the moment came. Mark had come home late, as usual. He was tired, distracted, and oblivious. He walked in the door, expecting to find his wife in the same place she always was, waiting for him. But this time, it was different. Emma was standing in the living room, her arms crossed, a steely expression on her face. "Where were you tonight, Mark?" she asked, her voice low and controlled. Mark froze, his eyes narrowing. "What's this about?" "Don't play games with me," Emma replied, her voice now cold as ice. "I know about Sarah. I know everything. And you know what? I'm not going to be the woman you walk all over anymore." Mark's face reddened with anger. "You don't know what you're talking about. You don't have any proof." "Oh, I have proof," Emma said, her lips curling into a bitter smile. "I've got all the proof I need. And you're going to pay for what you've done. Not just to me, but to her too." She watched as his anger morphed into panic. He was starting to realize the gravity of the situation. But it was too late. She had already won. The final piece of Emma's plan fell into place the following week. Mark's life unraveled in a way that no one could have predicted. His career began to crumble as word of his affair spread through the office. Sarah, terrified, backed away from him completely. And Emma? She was left standing victorious, knowing that she had taken back everything he had stolen from her. But here's where the twist came. As the dust settled, Emma received a message from Sarah. It wasn't an apology. It wasn't a plea for forgiveness. It was a simple statement. "I never meant for this to happen. But I'm not the one you should be mad at. Look at the bigger picture. Mark isn't the only one who's been lying to you." And then it hit her. It wasn't just Mark. There was someone else behind the scenes. Someone who had played a much bigger part in this betrayal than Emma could have ever imagined. Her mind raced as she realized the shocking truth. The revenge wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Asterisk. Hey everyone. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an incredible story like this one.